Welcome back to Art Talks. I'm so happy to be able to do this again. This is one of my personal favorite hobbies to do, to supplement the art. And it's just a really amazing creative outlet for me to share my opinions about something that I care so deeply about. And let's get right into it. So, I learned a lot over the past 4 or 5 months working on my Art Talks project. I think I did a lot of things well, and there are a lot of things I could have improved on. I think one of the biggest things I really liked was the scripted videos. I really liked writing my opinions down, having a clear cut sort of thesis to my points, and um, sort of the times when I didn't do that, uh, I would stutter a lot and I wasn't prepared. And it's not even talking about completely scripting a video either, right? I think just having some general idea of what you're talking about is way better than just going into a blind, which I did a lot of times because I thought maybe it would help more, but I don't think so. Another thing that I think I could improve for this season is to have not move so fast, not time lapse everything so fast. I think instead I would instead have, you know, parts of the picture where I move in 2 times or 3 times speed instead of going like 20 times speed, and you won't be able to see everything. Just trying to cram it all in, right? Just finding select interesting moments to make that video about that part. So what's up with me? I haven't been drawing that much over the past few months. I mean, my friends always make fun of me for this, but whenever I say like I don't draw that much, they're always like, no, like that's a Gordon answer, because when Gordon says he doesn't draw that much, he's still drawing a lot. But really, I didn't draw that much. I'm showcasing this picture I did almost a year ago, and I finally get to publish it. I think it's, working so hard for that 1 month when I was making this picture almost makes the break kind of worth it. Because I look at this picture right now, and I haven't seen it in a long time either. And man, like, just this is what I mean by having involved pictures and having the birds, having that little waterfall underneath that character down there. But yeah, that's besides the point. I did want to do a little bit of show and tell today, and that has to do with Hot Wheels. I don't know how I got into the hobby, friends, FOMO, that sort of thing, but I really just wanted to showcase it to show that I am human and it's okay. It really is okay to have other hobbies outside of art, play games, and don't make it about this huge. Oh, I need to get other hobbies so I can feel more inspired, so I can get better at drawing. Let's get away from that for a little bit, right? Let's just enjoy the hobbies for what they are. So I just wanted to show some of the Hot Wheels that I got. It shouldn't be that long. Look at this. Toyota Supra. Look at that. You don't open it. This is like a really design thing, but I really love just the packaging and the car together. It's almost like you get like an illustration and then you get the 3D model. It's almost like that, like the fantasy of having a built-in picture, like a crafted picture, and then you get the model. I think it's really brilliant. There's another thing here. It's called a diorama. They're all like Japanese cars. I only brought 3 with you. I have a whole wall over here, but that might be too much for the first episode. So here's a diorama. Yes. Look at it. Oh, let me get it in frame. See? It's all, evolution of the skylines. One of my favorite diorama boxes. Personally, for me, these things are. When I first got into the hobby, I was like, oh, I should draw the cars, right? And then I just wasn't that interested in it. And I realized that I think at the beginning I felt really guilty about, one, spending money, but other was like, I need to do this for the art. It needs to improve my art. And that's just, if you want to be a master, if you want to be like a Da Vinci or a Velasquez or a Rembrandt, fine, maybe you can. But what if you just want to be good enough? What if you just want a job? I think it's okay, even though it's hard for me to say that because I don't have a projected career ahead of me, so I don't really know. But I just have a gut feeling that it's okay to divulge in other hobbies for now. And my last one, this is sort of like my holy grail, even though it's not. But more DTRs. This is like a special packaging. You know, you can tell it's more expensive. It's like a premium. It's even numbered on the back right here. You see on that special, there's a special sticker. And yeah, when I'm stressed out, when I come back from school, I just take a look at them. And I think it just brings a, because art is work, right? And there's just no way around that. And looking at these things, it definitely has some sort of aesthetic pleasure to it that I think is really useful. And I really just want to get that out there, that it's okay to have other hobbies. It's okay to have other hobbies and to be happy with them, and not always make it about productivity, about art, like improving at art, just having them just for the fun of it. And so that's what I want to share. And if anyone's watching, please let me know what your hobbies are, and I'd be really interested to know what you collect and what you like doing on your free time outside of the art. So on top of one of the things, like I mentioned, I really like was the scripted part of the channel. And so I'm going to really continue doing that. I've been working on things like anxiety, just art anxiety and general anxiety, things about like really getting to the mindfulness part of it, different stages of the paintings that we really are super uncomfortable with. I also want to talk about drawing instruction. And when I talk about drawing instruction, I don't mean the typical YouTube content that we see all the time. And here are my sort of points. I sort of listed it out in this part of the PowerPoint. But the first one is going to be learning how to make thumbnails, learning how to compose. For this is for my class I'm taking. I kind of blocked the first one because I don't really like the first one, but I'll show it here. It's for Fahrenheit 451. I never read the book, but I heard there's these. I just did some very basic research, try to come up with this composition. So one of my videos I hope is going to be revolving around making one of these pieces. I'm going to try, since I have a lot of workload to do, these are going to be my portfolio pieces, right? If they're really that good. And so I really want to put my time into it. I don't know if I'm going to have time to make another earthbending picture, which is kind of sad, but you know what? I'm sure maybe I'll have time in February or something like that. But for now, I really want to get this to a really high standard and put it in my portfolio, because time is ticking, right? 4th year, I'm going to graduate soon. So I really want to, go all out for OCAD. So the first instructional part is going to be light on form and painting basics. Let me get out of my way. All right, sorry. So you can see here, the same thing over and over again. I got this at Above Ground. Let me just say, I spent $15. I got 5 paintings out of it, $3 a painting. That paid for itself. I mean, yeah, this is my ride or die right here. It's been with me since first year. And so when I talk about doing it differently than instructional YouTube videos, this is what I mean. I don't want to regurgitate the same thing over and over again. Of course, there's going to be some overlap where I have to do that, talking about some of the common mistakes, really universal light on form methods like compressing lights, things like that. But I really want to err it on the side of hearing something that you wouldn't hear from someone else. Maybe a good example of this would be to, I had a class today, a painting class, where I was listening to the teacher talk, and he said, always worry about light on shadow, like light and shadow, always make sure that they're separate, blah, blah, blah. And I always had questions like, what about HDR? What about ambient lighting? What about rim lighting? Like, how do we navigate these spaces when you keep telling me this and this and that? And so I really want to get into the nitty-gritty, into the student perspective, the inquisitive student perspective whenever people hear this stuff. And I think that's going to be really useful. because it's going to be different than everybody else's content, and I really want to just put it out there that your questions and your feelings about drawing instruction are very valid, and you're not doing anything wrong, because I really thought I was doing something wrong when I had a bunch of these questions that were I was going through a time where I would have these questions and then I just thought, oh, I'm just too stupid, or I'm just not thinking about this hard enough, and I would just turn it inwards, and it's sad, but yeah. So I really do plan to do one lesson on light on form, just the general. I'm sure you've heard it a lot of time, but I kind of want to try it. I kind of want to try teaching in my own way if I had a chance to teach a class at OCAD. The next thing I want to talk about is color and light. So in these paintings, why does the one on the I'm out of the way. Why does the painting on the left look like it's lit by a street light? Why does the one in the middle, the bow, look like it's ambiently lit? And the one on the right, it looks sunlit. Why? What is it about these pictures? And if you look up close, especially on the both of these ones on the side, you'll see that they're just painted completely observationally. There's no really perspective, form, anything. It's just the light information. It's just the local color information. And I think there's something very, very valuable here with color and light. I'm going to be referencing some James Gurney, but I really want to talk about what makes things feel a certain way, and how do we design our color palettes around that? How do we design our compositions around color? And how do we, light and shadow, right? How do we paint in ambient lighting, in source light, in daylight? I think these are very, very important. Haven't heard anyone talk about OCAD, and I really want to, like I said before, have a lesson dedicated just for this. I hope I sound good. I've been checking, I've been looking at myself, making sure that the audio levels are good. Okay. The next thing I want to teach is portraits and figures. So I want to talk about how do we, I think the figure part is just about anatomy. I'm kind of sick of hearing people talk about anatomy so much. I understand that it's important. I understand that you should learn the skeletal structures and all that, but I don't think it's that important. I just don't. I'm sorry. The same goes for the portrait. I've had a huge difficulty with drawing Korean overexposed photos. I can't help myself. I gotta do it. And I want to tell you that it's okay to make the pretty overexposed Korean woman a little bit higher contrast. I should say that. I really want to talk about common planes of the head that I think are just so beautiful. Great example would be the barrel of the mouth. I mean, god damn. The barrel of the mouth and some of the bones here are just extremely characteristic, and I love drawing them every single time. I really want to share my experiences with navigating that space, learning how to break things down. It's gonna refer a little bit back to light on form, of course. It always refers back to that, but just learning when to simplify forms. You'll see in this top left one right here, right, like how this eye socket is simplified. Learning when to do that, how to make lips that don't look like they're stuck on. Learning how to add local color changes. Yeah, that's what this lesson is going to be about. Especially, like, if you look at the figure, notice how her limbs are redder than her torso, and we often see that because of tanning, right? Yeah, I still really like this figure. I did it almost 2 years ago. Next thing is basic design principles. Okay, here we go. I think I'm going to be repeating a lot of the stuff that you see online, right? Like big, medium, small, whatever, right? And I think I did mention in a previous video to never design an abstract. Designing an abstract is fun, right? When you're doing sketchbook work, it is fun. And there's no avoiding that. So rather than say, don't do that, never design this, I say, okay, let's just put it in its place, right? Let's just design for abstract, design for fun. But this almost goes to the automatic drawing, which I'll get to later. But yeah, just having a design sense, having a, like when you're designing props, when you're designing characters, what does that mean? Like, how do we make things more appealing? In my perspective, right? In my very niche perspective, I have a very specific niche, and if you see my art more and more, you'll see that my opinions about it are growing, and I'm definitely getting better at it. Let's see the next thing. Intuitive perspective. Okay, I'm really excited to talk about this one because if you look on the left, Scott Robertson, Learn How to Draw book, perspective. Oh God, I spent months, doing this. I never once have ever used it online, like on any form whatsoever. And on the right is what I want to teach: an intuitive perspective. Just don't even have to think about any vanishing points or anything. Just draw it and it looking natural, especially if you're drawing figures. Anything organic, there's no way you're going to be able to do this. Like this sort of draw through method, drawing tilted plane. It doesn't have to be perfect, and the work that you love isn't perfect. That's what I'm trying to say. So I really want to teach intuitive perspective where you're not getting hung up about it. When you're drawing figures, you're not like, oh, you can't progress because the perspective is all wrong. There are definitely ways to fix things without trying to overanalyze perspective. Perspective is one of the easiest things to crawl back to when things are not going right. Oftentimes, I don't think that's the correct answer. And lastly, so I want some content to be around abstract and representational automatic drawing. I think meditation, mindfulness meditation, and drawing go hand in hand. There is no difference between the two. Automatic drawing is one of the best ways to realize that, to notice the unconscious things that your mind is doing that lets you make art at a high level. I talk about doing abstract and representational because abstract is, well, it's abstract. There's no right or wrong answer, right? And I have done a lot of abstract automatic drawing because I know that there's no judgment there. It's like one more step removed, and it allows you to sink in more into your unconscious feelings, just going with it, paying more attention to what your mind is thinking about as you're drawing, so that when you do draw more representational, you'll be able to catch it. And then on the right, it's a little bit more advanced. It's representational automatic drawing, which is just, in my case, since I've been drawing Boxman for 2 years, I can just pump those out, right? And then I just paint it very simply. Doesn't have to be finished, and I would consider the picture over there to be automatic drawing. No idea what the theme is about, anything. Just designing, drawing, and not worrying about it so much. So I definitely want to host some sort of guided meditation in hopes to unify and to teach people, at least one person, me, that you can art and mindfulness and the entire practice of doing it, in my opinion, is completely compatible. That you can enter states of flow and you can let your unconscious do the work, just like when you're mindful and paying attention to your thoughts. There is no difference in between. I really want to share that, put a bigger emphasis on mindfulness meditation in this week's, or in this season of our talks. I hope that my audio is better, at least. That's one of the biggest things I wanted to fix, just talking louder, being more confident. And I will try my best to get it out there and spread the good word. So, bye-bye.